The sun's out. What? Am I serious? What can I say, man? Sometimes. So, chest day. I think this is day 80? Perhaps day 80? Woke up at 250 again. Jesus Christ. But whatever. We're heavier than we started, even though we had a little bit of backtracking for the last few weeks. I'm telling you, 260. That'll be the end of this. That'll be the end of this series, whether or not you believe it. So, chest. We'll start off with some variety of bench. I don't know what I want to do. Dumbbell or barbell. Hard to say. I'll pick one. Either way, first few sets are going to be some sort of pressing movement, either barbell or dumbbell incline bench. Going to throw around as much weight as possible, or as many reps as possible. Right, same standard procedure as usual. Then move on to some sort of, probably jump on the pec deck a little. That's kind of been my go-to. Then jump onto a machine incline press. There's one there that I really like. Hammer strength plate-loaded ones. Those ones I seriously like. I wish they had one here. And then I'll probably finish off chest with some variety of cable flies, get a real good stretch, who doesn't know the drill of a chest day, right? So check the pump after that, and then shoulders. For the life of me, I don't understand why you guys are so perplexed when I say to do 11 sets of lateral raises, right? What? I don't get it. I don't understand what you're missing, So the basic gist of most muscle groups, calves are a little funky because you walk on them all day, but the basic gist that you should be following for all muscle groups is work them out twice per week, and your total amount of volume should be split evenly, adding up to about 20-ish sets per week, right? So you do the math. That means for each muscle group, you should do about 10 sets per workout, right? That's based on like whatever sort of science, mumbo jumbo, whatever. But I mean, in more of a direct cause and result, that's what I've been doing this whole fucking time. And again, it's pretty much about right, because if you do 10 or 10-ish sets, and they're actual real sets, you're going hard, you should be pumped by them. And there's no point pushing past, your peak pump, right? If I were to do this chest workout, and I were to get to 11 sets like I'm going to, I'd pretty much be fully pumped right then. If I were to try to do 11 more, I'd end up losing my pump, just fatiguing myself, and building up all sorts of lactic acid, whatever. I'm not an exercise physiologist, but there'd be no point. Once you're fully pumped and you've lifted a lot of weight, that's pretty much it. So shoulders, just fucking 11 sets of lateral raises, and 11 sets of a combination of rear, dude, holy fuck, am I having a stroke? Rear delt exercises. Reverse pec deck, bent over flies, or bent over lateral raises, face pulls. As long as you can feel a good squeeze in your rear delt, that's all you gotta do. So, enough of this mumbo jumbo. Let's slam this pre and get in there. There we go. All right, time to roll. This fucking guy's looking at me. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, for shoulders, I just kind of wanted to get done. I didn't need any more talking. But yeah, chest was fucking sweet. Didn't feel the pec at all. Hopefully a good omen that it is nice and healed. And then shoulders, I mean, Jesus. When I looked back at the clip, oh my God. Having big shoulders, that gives you a very, what's the word I'm thinking of? A very pronounced look, I will say. Especially when they're just like poking at the sleeves. Oh my God. But yeah, killer lift. Ready to go home and eat. Oh, freaking cop next to me. Make sure I have my lights on. So, I mean, again, with shoulders, just I can understand why people would get bored. Like, oh, 11 sets of side lateral raises? That sucks. That's too much. Same kind of logic when people don't like arm day. You know, oh, it's just a bunch of curls and push downs. Oh, it's so boring. I don't know, man. You got the wrong mindset. As far as I'm concerned, that just means you don't have to put too much thought into it. You know, you just get to sit there, listen to music, play on your phone a little bit in between sets, and then fucking just hit the weight every minute or two. So I don't mind it. You know, if you could build every muscle just by doing one exercise for the whole workout, you know, and going hard on it, shit, why wouldn't you want to do that? But, you know, different muscles have a little bit more required depth to the approach to their training, right? Like chest, I would not want to do all pressing movements, because then I would miss out on the squeeze from flies. And on the opposite, I wouldn't want to do all flies, because then I would miss out on the tension from the pressing. But with something like shoulders, you know, all they need is a bit of weight stimulus and a pump, and they'll grow, as long as you feed them. So let's slam this dextrose shake before I forget. Post-workout, dextrose, straight to the bloodstream, insulin spike. It's good for your recovery, I tell you. Oh. Oh. God. Tell you what, hits your stomach like a brick, but it's good for you. Very good for you. So, let's think. Again, it's been a little while since I've referenced it, but I don't understand why people ask me what the split is. I mean, if you just look at the upload schedule, you see it, right? Chest and shoulders. Huh, what did he do the day before this? Well, let's see. Let's look at the last upload. Legs. Oh, what the hell did he do before that? Arms. Okay, what did he do before that? Back. Right? It just seems like a foolish comment. But one thing that is a little bit more valid is, Sam, do you take any rest days? Do you take any rest days? No. I do not have a planned rest day. As far as I can tell, man, your body can handle a significant amount of, what do you call it? So let's just say stress, you know, working out, you are stressing your body. But, you know, I will say that you have to work up to that, right? If you're a new lifter, if you just started out going to the gym out of nowhere, and you do push-pull legs, so you go in, you do a push day, you do a pull day after that, and then you do a leg day, you may need a rest day for sure, because like you're new to this stimuli. But you know, this whole time that I've been training ever since the beginning, right? It's pretty much, you know, you wake up, You eat food, you go about your day, and then you train. And then it just repeats, right? Train every fucking day. Uh, I don't know, I couldn't tell you the exact percentage, but like over the last probably 4.5 years that I've actually been like going to the gym lifting, I'd say, oof, I definitely don't think you could find more than maybe, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you, but like at least 95% of those days I've been in the gym, like especially in the beginning, I mean, I would not miss a workout for anything. Now, of course, if I like have to stay home and study for something really important, or uh, if I'm like really tired, like I can tell that the muscle I was going to hit is still actually sore, then sure, maybe take a rest day. But for the most part, if you eat and sleep responsibly, you're going to recover enough that you'll be able to train the next day. You know. Now, a good way to think about a lot of stuff is to take it to the extremes, right? If my whole lifting, let's say lifting journey, I was taking rest days all the time, going to the gym maybe 3 times a week, 4 times a week average, would I have the same amount of gains? Probably not. I would say probably not. Uh, because, I mean, having a rest day per week versus going in every day, it's probably not going to change your results that much. But just the change in your attitude and your intensity towards the gym, if you actually manage to build up the discipline to go every day, it's just going to be a better case scenario, right? Now, in terms of the split, again, it just makes sense why you wouldn't have a rest day, right? If you work, I just did chest and shoulders, right? I'm not going to hit chest and shoulders again for 3 days. So my chest and shoulders get 3 days to rest, right? They're not being worked. They get to recover from all the damage that I just caused. So, unless for whatever reason I'm like really out of it sick, or like beyond fatigued for whatever random reason, I'd rather go to the gym, man. Right? You're going to be better off thinking to yourself, do I really need a rest day? Am I just being lazy? Am I just being lazy? Am I just a little bit tired and not really feeling into it? Right? You got to be able to recognize that versus, okay, I'm legitimately fatigued. My body will do better if I give it time to rest. Right? And those two scenarios are not interchangeable. Right? Like the guy who takes a rest day because he's tired a little versus the guy who takes a rest day because he actually knows that he needs it. It's like the difference between those two is a considerable amount of lifting experience. But rest days, man, who needs them? Who needs them? Just go to the gym, man. Just get in there. Whoa, everybody's turning. So I'm gonna go home, take my vitamins, eat a few more calories, and then I'm going to bed. So back day tomorrow should be a filthy pump. I'll see you then. Whoa. I shouldn't even be surprised. The sun's up. I've kind of made this a little bit of a habit. No more of these 3 a.m. lifts. But even though it's daytime, still going to go hard. Today's going to be back day. Yesterday I did shoulders. People are getting a little bit curious. They keep asking, like, since I hit rear delts on shoulder day yesterday, is that going to affect me for back today? I don't know. Valid point. When you do back, you work your rear delts a little. But I it definitely wouldn't hurt to do just back and rear delts, and then have chest day just be chest and side delts. But when I do shoulders, I want to do them all at once, and I can't tell a difference when I'm doing the back day after rear delts. So probably going to start with some variety of rows. Let's get some pull downs going. Grab some pullovers, but really nothing complicated. I mean, back especially, you know, as long as you do a good mix of rows and pull downs, you're gonna pump it up, right? So no need to overcomplicate it, right? Just make sure you go hard. So it's nothing else to talk about. Let's just fucking get started. All right, so it was actually a reasonably quick back day. That's probably done with back in about, after the initial warm-up, probably like an hour. And then I spent a little while doing calves and chit-chatting. So let's just slam the dextrose shake before I have to think about it too much. Oh, Jesus. Ah! Oh, crap. Ah. It would seem I did not shake it up enough. Oh. That's got to be up there with some of the most disgusting things. You know, when you get a clump in your shake that you're not ready for. Ugh. Disgraceful. But back, you know, threw around a ton of weight in the beginning. Pumped the fuck out of it at the end. A lot of contractions, you know, a lot of squeezing movements with the pull downs, the pullovers. Those rows at the end, you know, to make those effective, it's not like all I'm focusing on is moving the weight back and forth, right? I'm really trying to, like when I was doing those, I was really trying to stretch my back in the bottom, and then not pull with my hands or not pull with my biceps, just try to squeeze my back and move the weight. So the more you lift, the easier it'll be for you to do that. You know, I know it's kind of hard for some people to feel, you know, some people feel lat pull downs in their forearms and their biceps a lot. There's not necessarily like a perfect trick. Like there's little mental cues you can imagine, like trying to pull with your elbow, you know, but for the most part, you're just gonna have to figure that out through experience. Wow, this guy is a fucking, he does not want to turn, huh? I got some homework to do when I get back. It's the due at midnight type. And then I've got some exams tomorrow. Not ideal. Not ideal for muscle growth one bit. But, you know, whatever. So, in terms of cramming, like let's say you got a lot of studying whatever work to do. You know, that's important. It's pretty important. But if you can allocate, you know, hour and a half in your day to, you know, going to the gym, and, you know, you don't go in and bullshit, you just get straight to the weights, you still get a pretty good lift in, even if you're busy, you know. One thing that'll kind of make it a little bit more challenging to go to the gym, if you've got like a legitimate sort of full-time schedule, like student, you know, you got a straight up job. Uh, it's not necessarily going to be too easy to go to the gym if you come home, wind down, and then try to go later at night. You know, like let's say you get home at like 5, you hang out, you eat until like 7. You know, you're getting all comfortable. Do you really want to go hit the gym at 8? I mean, if you really want to get big, then of course you're going to do it. But, you know, whenever I'm, like in the summer times, I've been working this full-time street painting job for the city. I love it. But I don't, when I'm done with that, like that shift is like 6 to 2, I don't go home and then like chill out, you know, hang out, whatever, and then go to the gym later at night. You know, I'd rather just pack my gym bag and then right after work, just go straight to the gym. It's almost like you're kind of building up momentum, right? If you're going out, or at least for me in this particular instance, like when I'm up, working whatever, like I'm up. But if I were to go home and like take a nap or something, it's almost gonna like drain my energy, right? I don't know if you can imagine what I'm trying to say, but you know, staying home and just sort of like getting too comfortable, time's gonna pass, and then you're gonna look at the clock. It's gonna be like 8:30 or 9, and if you've got shit to do early in the morning, it's not gonna be so easy to hit the gym. So that's where, you know, sort of trying to align your schedule with your goals is going to be important, right? It's going to be way easier for you to hit the gym consistently if you allocate a specific amount of time to it with, you know, reasonable, I don't want to say consistency again, but yeah, consistency, right? If you've got a legitimate routine that you can follow, it's going to be so much easier to keep that up. But you know, if you're not necessarily as strong-willed as some others, then if you wait too long, or if you sort of put the gym off in your day-to-day schedule, I can definitely see how it's going to be pretty difficult for you to say, oh shit, it's 10 o'clock already? Alright, we're skipping. I'll stay home, turn it into a rest day. Not good, not ideal. So, basic gist, try to build up a, you know, a workout routine in your schedule, at least as a beginner, because that'll make it a lot easier to, you know, stick to it day in, day out. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this car talk. I've got to think about all the shit I have to do when I get home. But I'm gonna eat some more food, take all my vitamins, try to get as much sleep as possible. And then tomorrow is going to be arm day. Should be a pretty gruesome pump, same as always. And cardio in the morning. I'm doing it. Are you? Who knows? But I will see you next time. Whoa, some freaky lighting. But perfectly on topic, it's fucking arm day, all right? Day 80 something, and I tell you what, I fucked up. The last 2 days I have eaten jack shit. Oh, had a bunch of exams. Rather than study over a long period of time and slowly accrue knowledge, you know, I'm more of the type to just like try to suck it all in like a few hours right before the exam, and you know, hopefully regurgitate some, you know, something, just something. But whatever. Had a big ass thing of cranberry juice, variety of other carbs, ramen, bagels. So still feel pretty full. In terms of how a workout's gonna feel, people underestimate your hydration. You know, if you don't have a lot of electrolytes floating around, like you haven't been eating a lot of salt, and you've been drinking like jack shit for water, your lift is probably gonna be shit. Like more so than if you were to miss a few meals or not be fully carved up. I notice this the most when I'm dieting because obviously if you're dieting, you're eating nothing. But my lifts always feel better when I've had a liquid IV or two before the workout. So arms, gonna keep it basic. Pretty much just a bunch of push downs and then a bunch of curls. Somebody was asking me about what exercises to do to work specific parts of the arm, like long head, short head, all sorts of brachialis. So I'll get into that a little bit too, but again, it's not gonna be too complicated, right? Main thing is just to go hard, get a diabolical pump, and then go home and eat. That's how you're gonna grow. So enough of this chit chat. Let's get started. Whew. I mean, could not have asked for a better arm day, for being honest. So let's make sure there's no clumps left in the dextrose shake, and slam it. Nope. Oh. Yeah, so it's really good, and it tastes super good, and it's just like so easy to drink. Okay, let's get out of here. Whew. So I mean, I make this point a lot. As a beginner, it's going to be pretty beneficial for you to just pick a workout routine, right? Like look up online, or just like watch other YouTubers or any other fitness dudes, whatever, and just copy their workout for a specific muscle group, right? Like if somebody does a chest day where they do 3 sets of bench, and then they do 3 sets of machine press, and then they do 3 sets of pec deck, and that's all they did for their lift. If you're a beginner, shit, man, just don't even focus on trying to change up the exercises. Just do what they do, copy it, and go hard. And then over time, as you watch other people's workouts, and you learn more information, you get a better feel for it. You'll be able to sort of recognize patterns and be like, okay, so this seems like a good chest day, so maybe I'll come up with my own today. And then you do whatever. You start off with heavy compounds, gradually progress towards more isolation movements. Like for chest, that would be starting off with some heavy free weights, maybe move on to like some Smith bench or machine press, then gradually move on to just like cable flies and pec deck. Like biceps for me today started off with heavy curls, really load the weight, lighten it a little with those concentration, or no, what am I saying, those single arm preacher curls, right? Then jump onto the easy bar curls, and then that last set of the pause rep 40s. It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, you just sort of have to get used to it. But basic gist of any workout, you're going to want to hit a muscle. 8 to 12 sets is pretty much the range where that's if you actually go hard, by the time you hit that many sets, you should be close to fully pumped, and you will have done enough work to actually trigger growth, right? Like I had somebody, I usually say you want to stop the lift when you're fully pumped. Like I've said that before. And then one guy comments like, "What if I get a pump after one set?" For one thing, you probably didn't get pumped after one set, but sure. Let's say hypothetically, one set gets you pumped to hell. That's not enough. It's not just about the pump, right? You want to actually do some damage with some heavy weight first, and then you know the first few sets will be really heavy, and the last few sets will be really focusing on squeezing, right? So the effort sort of changes because in the beginning you're just focusing max effort, muscle recruitment, and then towards the end it's more so of a like an endurance test, right? Because if you're curling the 30s, like let's say this is your last set, you're just trying to burn out. What's going to stop you from doing another rep? Is it the fact that your bicep literally can't do another curl, or is it the fact that it just it's starting to fucking burn, right? So you got to be able to push through that, and the more reps you can get out, the better. I've always liked doing triceps. Well, not always. I'll get into it, but right now I'm a pretty big proponent of doing tris first, all push downs, all everything, and then moving on to biceps. Right, just doing them each on their own. I've done alternating workouts before. Like I've gone like 3 sets of triceps, 3 sets of biceps, back and forth till I hit 11. Or I've gone like 1 set of triceps, 1 set of biceps, and then just alternated the whole workout. I mean, as long as you go hard, they're both gonna work. I sort of run into a little bit of a problem because if I, when I finish triceps, my triceps are pumped. They are like, blood's flowing, they're tight. It's good. And then as I start doing biceps, I start to lose that tricep pump, and then biceps get pumped, sort of in a little bit of a inverse relationship, right? But if I do like back and forth, tris and bis, and they're both fully pumped at the same time, it's almost like it's almost like too much. Like it'll get to the point where just like it'll almost hinder my range of motion a little bit. Like if I'm doing curls and my triceps are insanely pumped, right? It's kind of hard to really pull the weight in. And then the opposite, if my biceps are fully pumped and tight, it's harder to like fully extend on tricep pushdowns. As long as you get your workload in about an hour and a half ish, the order of the exercises, at least in terms of going back and forth, it shouldn't change too much your results. I'm just sort of following the mentality that I just want to focus on one muscle at a time and just destroy it before moving on. So that's the same thing that I do with legs, right? I start off with all of hamstrings. So for the first portion of the workout, the only thing I'm focusing on is hamstrings. Right? I'm not thinking about quads. I'm not thinking about calves. It's just hamstring curls out the wazoo. And then once hamstrings are done, I'm like, okay, now we can move on to quads, right? Like each individual muscle will have my full attention at any given time in the workout. So that just feels good for me. Like some of this stuff is, it's science based in a sense. It's just you've seen people like Jeff Nippert and stuff when they're referencing like workout studies of muscle growth. So some of it is like that, but for the most part, I think your results are going to be dictated purely by your intensity. So if you try to do like some sort of workout that's pretty much just normal, like anybody would do it, like a generally accepted good workout, and for whatever reason you just feel like shit, like you don't like it, you don't want to start with, I don't know, whatever, but you like doing something your own way, like you like hitting biceps this one particular way, you're not going to have it any other way. It just feels the best for you. I mean, as long as you go hard and hit a lot of weight, and with a serious pump, then you're good, right? Sure, you should have a little bit more of an open mind. Like, if you don't, if you don't change your workout plans over time, you know, that's a perfect ingredient to hit a plateau and just become, you know, a lifter who's maintaining his physique rather than progressing it. So it's definitely good to at least be open to new ideas. But whatever you got to do is such that you can enjoy your lift and go hard at the same time. That's going to be what's best, you know. Everybody's got their own best case scenario, right? Like, what works for me isn't going to work for you necessarily, and vice versa. So that's where accruing knowledge is going to be most beneficial, right? Because sure, like I was saying, the beginner lifter following someone else's workout plan, assuming it's just like a general plan, like whatever, not specifically catered to this individual lifter, right? You know, they'll make results, they'll grow on it, but if they just keep doing the same lifts over time, they're not going to progress. You know, you need new stimuli. So hopefully you got a little bit of knowledge from that. But whatever. No class tomorrow. Very excited. So I get to sleep in a little. I'm going to try to eat as much food as possible before I go to bed. Take my vitamins and just rest up for legs. If the leg pump tomorrow, well, if the arm pump today has anything to indicate towards the leg pump tomorrow, then I am in for a treat. So maybe I'll need to bring some stitches with me in case my quad rips open. So see you next time. All right. I had to do a quick pit stop at the grocery store. Needed some apple juice intra workout. So what's today? Day 80 80 something? All I know is it's arm day. So start off with tries, move on to buys, standard procedure. I may or may not try to go really heavy. What's going on here? On the push downs. I'll sort of. Oh, do I know like? No. Like with triceps, I mean, you'll get a pump either way, whether or not you're moving a really heavy amount of weight versus, you know, if you go a little bit lighter, you're doing stuff with a rope or single arm movements and you're really squeezing it. Like, it just kind of depends. Now, going heavy, there's definitely some benefit, I would say. So if your elbows get kind of fucked up, like right on the outside, tendons going on in here, it's definitely going to be beneficial if you start off your warm-up with just like single arm light stuff. Maybe even spend like 10 minutes just fucking around on the cable just to get some blood flow in the area, sort of get it exposed to a little bit of tension before you start to just try to, you know, slam the fuck out of it. Because you're not, I mean, if your triceps are fucking hurting you, you're not gonna be able to go that hard. You're just gonna be, you know, limited by your pain tolerance. And then if it hurts, you're probably doing some sort of damage. So biceps after that, a variety of heavy curls. I've been liking the single arm preacher curls. I'll probably throw those in as well. And then, let me think. That's pretty much gonna be it. I'll finish calves at the end. So every time that I'm done doing a little pose down and I say, all right, well, let's go hit some calves. That's just fucking 8 sets of single leg calf raises on whatever machine you prefer. You know, the seated one's good. The Smith machine, no, the leg press. I like that one a lot. Load up a few plates, sit down on the leg press, put one foot on the bottom. Super good for calves. Or the standing machine. You know, it's whatever. It's all going to be working your calves. So 8 sets per lift, which is basically just 8 sets per day. As far as I can tell, it's going to give you some growth. Because I'd consider calves to be a little bit of a variant, right? Because you're walking around on them all the time. That's the old school logic of why they need more attention than other muscles, right? They're stubborn. But take that as you will, right? I can almost guarantee that right now, let's say you're going into the gym, I can guarantee your calves are not sore. So if you don't want to do them every day, just do them every day that they're not sore. And in all likelihood, that probably will be every day. So I'm just gonna slam this pre and then we can get in there. All right, don't freak out about the audio quality. My phone's about to die. I gotta plug it in instead of having the mic plugged in. But I ended up loitering in the gym for like an extra hour. So I already slammed the dextrose shake. Pretty much finished off that whole. So that wasn't even apple juice. I grabbed the wrong one when I was in there. That was like white grape juice. It's still good, but I mean, it's not necessarily what I wanted. But it really doesn't matter what it is. It's you know, as long as it's some intra-workout carbs, that's good enough for me. So let me try not to crash on the way out of here, and then we can discuss some points of the workout. So, I mean, as you saw, incredibly basic exercise choice. Pretty much just 2 types of dumbbell curls. Normal and the preacher. Did those little pause reps at the end, but I mean, that's just a little something. And then triceps. Well, I guess triceps is first, but that was just some heavy ass push downs, followed by some slightly lighter push downs, so I could get more of a put a little bit more effort into the contraction, get a little bit more range of motion as well, so I can work the tricep in the stretched position. And then that one set of reverse single arm push downs just to finish off the pump. And calves, you know, it's just 8 sets of sitting on the calf machine. Nothing very exciting there anyway. But clearly, it's doing something, right? So who do you think got a better workout? Me, who just did 2 exercises per body part? Or Jeff, who did 10 exercises per body part? And each of them was the most scientifically optimal muscle recruitment inducing, whatever, you know. There's certainly benefits to getting into all that sort of logistical biomechanical information, you know, talking about whatever random BS science-based training like that. But you know, who wants to deal with that? You're going to get perfectly good results, if not better, purely by having, you know, a more hardcore mindset and just going hard with the basics, right? I mean, when I look up to people in terms of lifters, and I'm watching, you know, it's good. It's I think it's like Machiavelli Motivation. It's this YouTube channel that makes a lot of bodybuilding like edits of old dudes, like Kevin Levrone, Dorian Yates style. Like, those are the guys I'm looking up to because they're just going hard. You know, there's a few tips and tricks. You know, there's a point at which you're going to be fully saturated with knowledge of which exercises to do, and you know, little variations so that you get a better contraction and whatnot. But once you've, like, that's not there's a ceiling to the amount of, you know, information that you can know about lifting, right? So after you learn the basics, you know how to get an arm pump, you know how to work out your legs, you know, stuff like that. The only thing that's going to change is how hard you go in the gym. So when I watch those old videos of fucking, all of them, man. I mean, love Dorian Yates, like Blood and Guts. Oh, that shit's hardcore. Kevin Levrone, Uncrowned Olympia, love that guy. Tom Platz, he was really going hard. He loved the whole theatrics of, talking about the intensity of the gym. I mean, all that shit is fucking awesome to watch. I just don't feel like there's anybody walking around now, or I watch a video of their training and I'm like, all right, yeah, now I'm fucking excited. I think in terms of mentality, the peak was back in the 80s and 90s, early 2000s of the hardcore guys, and we've kind of lost it ever since then. I've talked about this before, but in terms of like the general mindset of young lifters, it really sucks how just being shredded is being pushed. I want to be aesthetic, so I'm just going to instantly jump straight into a hardcore dieting phase so I can see, like, the 3 abs that I have. What? That's just stupid, right? As far as I can tell, you're going to want to gain some muscle at first, right? So new lifters can't decide whether or not they want to bulk or cut, or even experienced lifters who can't decide whether or not they want to bulk or cut. It's pretty much impossible to go wrong if you decide that you want to start a legit bulk, right? Because what's going to happen? You're going to gain strength, you're going to gain size, and then, after a considerable amount of time, maybe a couple of months, then you go into a cutting phase. You sort of peel off the outer layers and see what you built. There's nothing wrong with like main gaining, right? Pretty much just eating. The basic gist of it is honestly just you hit your protein goal per day, whatever that number may be, 200 grams, 250 grams, at least, maybe a 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. And then you just pretty much eat as much food as you're hungry for. And for the most part, if you do that, and you train hard in the gym, you will build muscle slowly over time. But, emphasis on slowly. So if I were to recommend to anybody, like main gain, diet, or bulk, I would say bulk. And I do not mean just get fat as shit. That is not ideal, right? There's certainly a level of pudge that's going to come along with the bulk, but you're going to want to mitigate that as much as possible. So if you start bulking and you're instantly just, you're eating way beyond your calorie surplus and you're just putting on excess body fat, you got 2 choices, which you should do both. For one, you're going to want to do your cardio, which I know you guys aren't doing. I'll get into that in a moment. And for 2, maybe you're going to want to change up your diet, eat a little bit less. Or, if you're trying to bulk up and you have a quote-unquote fast metabolism, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you don't. All you need to do is eat more food. Right? And it's just as basic as that. Because there's no other trick, right? You're not gonna ask a huge lifter and go up to him and say, "Oh, dude, I'm trying to get big, but I eat so much food." Right? At the end of the day, they're going to tell you nothing other than, okay, well, you're going to have to eat more. The only way to gain weight is to eat more food. The only way to lose weight is to eat less food. There's a variety of just known truths to lifting, to health and whatnot. And that's pretty much the most That's like the bread and butter of changing the way that your body looks, right? Is the amount of fuel that you're putting into it, and whether or not that exceeds or is below the amount of fuel that your body burns per day. Because if it's below, then what does that mean? That means your body is still going to burn as much, as many calories as it needs to. And if it doesn't get that from the food that you eat, then it's going to take it from where? Your fat stores, right? That's why you lose fat, because it's digested, broken down into energy. And of course, the opposite is going to be true. If you eat above your your maintenance calorie number, then your body's like, oh shit, we got some extra energy floating around. What are we going to do with it? Now, combined with weight training, some of that's going to get converted into muscle growth. And still, I mean, there's no way around it. There will be a little bit of fat gain as well. The enlightened lifter knows that if he wants to make progress, he's got to take the bulk with everything that it entails, right? You get the positives, which is your increased strength. Obviously, you pretty much get to eat as much food as you want. It's very good. But I mean, you're also going to be a little bit softer. You're going to be walking around with a full belly. I like cutting and bulking pretty much evenly, because I see the benefits of both, right? It's just pushing me towards my path of improvement in this particular field. But I definitely like cutting, just because it feels good to have an empty stomach. It feels good not to have just pressure on your midsection like that. But again, in terms of, so getting back to what I was saying, cardio, it is not going to kill your gains. That is stupid. Cardio is not going to make you lose muscle in the slightest, right? You guys, not you guys, but people, they love to take arguments to the extreme. They hear cardio, they're thinking, okay, well, it's hard. I don't want to do it, but I don't want to admit that I'm a pussy. Let me find a reason to explain why I don't want to do it. Google search. Oh, wow, marathon runners actually burn muscle? Marathon runners go into catabolism because they're burning so much energy, they're going into rhabdo? Oh, crap. Cardio burns muscle. Cardio burns muscle, I don't have to do it. What the fuck? That's so stupid. No, it does not. Right. 30 minutes, steady state cardio, right? The likes of which is going to leave your heart rate around maybe 140. I'd say pretty much average. If you can get your heart rate up to 140s-ish for about 30 minutes, or 130, whatever, you got to look it up. There's all sorts of stages to cardio, but whatever. Just low intensity, 30 minutes a day in the morning is going to be your best bet. You can do it after your workout as well, but it's not going to be as good. It's like when I do it, I pull up to the gym, sit down. Well, actually, I've got a seated bike at the house. But if you don't, you just pull up to the gym, you jump in, you play on your phone for 30 minutes, and then you're done and you leave, and that's it. You're going to have a better metabolism because your body is burning more energy in the day, right? You're going to have a better cardiovascular system, so you're not going to get so gassed and out of breath while you're working out. So your workouts are going to be better, and as a result of that, heightened metabolism, you're not going to put on so much fat when you're bulking. And obviously, when you're dieting, you're going to burn more fat more quickly. So cardio is non-negotiable, man. Or there's exceptions. If you got a labor job, that's going to count because you're working, burning energy in the day. If you want to count your steps and somehow correlate that to calories, I don't really look into the steps. I haven't messed with it. I'd rather just do it right in the morning, get out of the way, and then you're done. So if you guys don't want to do it, it's up to you, man. It's your call. I'm just telling you what I think. So tomorrow is going to be leg day. I'm driving back home tonight, so it'll be at Metro Fitness. That's this cool gym down in kind of by Columbus that I like. So they've got a really good array of machines there. Tons of hamstring curls, tons of leg extensions, a variety of racks. Super good gym. When I'm home for the summer, I might end up lifting there pretty much on a daily basis. I'll have to see, because it is a little bit of a drive. But until then, I'm going to go home, pack up my vitamins and clothes and shit, and hit the road before getting to go to sleep in my own bed and see my dog. That'd be nice. So, yeah, shit, that's it. So I'll see you next time, goddammit. Oh, shit. I had my brights on. Whoops. All right. We're getting back to our roots. It's 10:30, aka prime time for a chest workout. Chest and shoulders, might I add. Ooh. So, drove home, took a nap. When I say drove home, I drove back to school. Ate a variety of foods, the likes of which I will elaborate in a full day of eating very soon, I swear. So, chest, I mean, I'm gonna do the same thing I always do, right? Start off with some heavy pressing movements, and then to put the finishing touches on the pump, just get as much blood into the muscle as possible. I'll move on to some flies, right? Cables, pec deck. I don't really mess with the dumbbells much anymore, but you do whatever feels good. And then by then, chest will be obliterated, inflated into, to the max. And shoulders, I'm just gonna hit it as simply as ever with 11 sets of rear delts and 11 sets of side delts. Now, in terms of exercise selection, it's not so important in my opinion. Side delts, what do you have to do? So, all you're doing is lateral raises of a few varieties, right? You do it with dumbbells standing, maybe you do them with dumbbells sitting, you change it up. Or you do it on you do one arm at a time, leaning against a bench. Maybe you do them with a cable, or you do a lateral raise machine. As long as you worked the side delt and you finish with a pump, you did enough. Same thing with rear delts. You got face pulls, you got reverse pec deck, you got maybe bent over dumbbell lateral raises, or sometimes I'll do this one where I'll just do like a single arm face pull. So grab a cable just with a normal handle and do a face pull like that. But that's the same as a face pull, right? It doesn't really matter what you do, as long as the intended muscle group gets hit with intensity and enough weight to elicit a decent pump, then you're gonna be good. I'll finish off with calves. Finish every workout off with calves, 8 sets. Calves can handle it. So, enough talking. Let's go see what I can bench, goddammit. Alright, upon closer inspection, I think I'm going to chill out on shoulders for a bit again. I went a pretty good while without hitting them, and then I hit them for the last, 2 months or so. But relative to my arms, they're getting a little bit overpowering, right? Especially in like a back double bi shot, right? Like my shoulder peaks up here, and my biceps are a little lower. So it kind of gives the illusion of smaller arms, if you can imagine. But before we get out of here, let's just slam the dextro shake. God damn it. Oh. Not awesome. Highly effective at spiking your insulin post-workout, along with, shit ton of carbs, which is the point post-workout, right? As soon as you're done training, you're done stressing your body, what do you want to do? You want to fucking feed it. And what do what are your muscles and what's your whole body run off? Like, what's the easiest fuel? What's the high octane equivalent of food? Right, it's going to be carbs, right? Because if you were to just instantly eat a shit ton of protein post-workout, what's that going to do for you, Like, it's kind of weird, high protein, low protein, whatever. But for the most part, you can sort of think of protein as just the building blocks for muscle, right? But you're also going to need energy for your body to fucking, what would the term be? Allocate it, right? And the quickest form is going to be out of carbs. So post-workout, the 50 grams of dextrose in the shake instantly spikes your insulin, shoots a shit ton of carbs into your bloodstream, which then get shot into your muscle cells, make you fill up, start recovering. So when I do 11 sets for a particular muscle group, what is the logic? Why 11? Is that some sort of special number? Did a shaman tell me that after he reached enlightenment? No. In all honesty, it's not. Might not be the perfect number, god damn it. But as a general guideline for your workout plan, just overarching, you're going to want to hit each muscle group per week about twice a week, right? Since I hit every muscle group every 4 days, I hit everything twice every 8 days, which is pretty much right on the money. Now, how much volume do you want to do? You're going to want about 20 to, about 20 sets per week total, right? So what's that going to mean? That's going to mean that for, your first arm day, if you've got an arm day, you're going to hit about 10 or so sets of triceps and 10 of biceps. And then when you hit arms again, it's going to be the same thing, 10 sets of triceps, 10 of biceps. Now, that's just sort of a generally accepted amount of volume. You always hear dudes in the science-based lifting community talking like that. You're going to want to hit about 20 sets per week, because that's about the most optimal volume range for hypertrophy. I hate it. But that's what they say, and for the most part, I'd agree with that. You don't need to be doing much more than that, especially assuming that you're training hard. It's just, it's not going to happen. By the time you've done about 10 or so sets for a specific muscle group, and you've actually been hitting it hard, at the end of that, you should be fully pumped. And that's pretty much a sign that you've done all you can, right? I'm not saying that's the only factor you should be looking for, because, what if I get pumped after one set? It's probably not true, but yeah, I can see the argument there, right? So you do your 10 sets, assuming the first half-ish you went really heavy, and then towards the end you lightened the weight, you did more squeezing movements, right, where you focus on the contraction, right? You really got a good pump. By the time you're fully pumped, which should be around 8 to 12, within that range, you're pretty much done. There's nothing else to do. If you do any more volume than that, then you're just going to be tiring yourself out for no more gain in muscle growth. You're not triggering any more hypertrophy per se. And if you do it much less, you'll still get a little bit of growth, I'm certain, but I'd say around 8 to 12 is the peak, right? Let's imagine a little bit of a graph. Okay, this is 0, and this is infinity that way, right? You do one set, maybe a little gains. 2 sets, a little more gains. 3, a little more. 4, a little more. And then up around 8 to 12, that's the peak. That's where your workout is going to be most effective. And if you do more, it's going to go downstream. And of course, if you do an infinite amount of sets in a workout, you're just fucking gonna, it's not even possible. Don't even consider it. So, if you're about to do chest, 3 sets of barbell incline bench, 3 sets of incline dumbbell bench, 3 sets of machine press, and then 2 sets of either pec deck or cable flies. That's pretty much the exact workout I just did. That's perfect, right? I say this a lot. I mean, the exercise choice, it's not so important, right? All you really got to do is go in, do some heavy lifts in the beginning and go hard. Try to finish with a pump in that allotted rep range or set range, and you're going to be good. So whether or not you want to do 8 sets or 12 sets or 10 or 11, I mean, the number is kind of arbitrary. I just like to pick, like I just like the number 11 because it feels good to me, right? If you go into a workout and you have no constraints on what you're going to do, then you're just going in mindlessly, right? Like I know that I go in and I want to do 11 sets for chest. Now what they are, to be determined, depends how I feel. But if I just go in and I got no plan, no nothing, what's the point? What are you doing? So enough of that. Fucking back day tomorrow will be a similarly simple workout, just a variety of rows and pull downs, potentially some pull overs, and shit, man, back's gonna be pumped. So I'm gonna go home, take my vitamins. Seriously hope I don't have an exam tomorrow in compressible flow. I'm not educated on nozzles as much as I should be. And I'll try to get some fucking rest. My goddamn chest needs it. So I'll see you next time, goddammit.